it's it's interesting what infrastructure that they're deciding to work on.
Right.
I mean, look at the submarine voyage there.
Right? Yeah, like that is what they're spending a lot of money on that.
It looks like they are.
And we all swore, and this is what I mentioned in the video,
Mhm.
I think our Toontown video a few weeks ago in regard to the Jolly Trolley. Like, what universe, what multiverse do we live in right now where the things that we thought they would never do, like bring the Jolly Trolley back, which actually is being rumored to come back, they might be doing that, but like the submarines, another like kind of a dead attraction walking, which we thought was on its way out. They're infusing a huge amount of cash to renovate it. I'm like, what is going on? But then the trams, nothing. You guys, nothing.
I don't get it at all. I don't understand it. I mean, it's like
weird.
The submarine voyage. First of all, it takes an incredible amount of cast members to run that thing and operate that thing. That's always been the mark against it, for the amount of attraction cast members that you need to facilitate that attraction, and versus how much capacity you get out of that thing. I think it's less than 1,000 an hour. It's like, it doesn't make much sense to operate it. That's why Paul Presser, the first thing he wanted to do was get rid of that thing, because operationally it just doesn't make any sense. No, that story turned out. But it's like, well, now you're infusing more cash into this thing, which honestly, I think a lot of people, when the shutdowns were announced and this kind of reopening of the Zen Resort began to be facilitated, it stayed closed. And a lot of people said, look, it wouldn't surprise me if it doesn't open up ever again. And to be honest, a lot of people were okay with that, because it's just, I always love the distinct uniqueness of every single attraction at the Disney Resort. I think it creates this kind of this nice almost salad, this variety of experiences that you can only find this one place. And to lose a submarine voyage would be devastating to that notion. But it's just, is it time to reevaluate? Well, apparently not, because they're investing a huge amount of money in it, and they've got scaffolding all over that place. And I don't know if they're sandblasting that lagoon or not, but I mean, they're working on it pretty extensively.
It's funny to me, like it kind of always surprised me, because the vehicles are the biggest downside to the submarine voyage, because it really hinders the capacity and how many people you can cycle through that attraction. If you're going to blow a huge amount of money on the submarines, right, and renovating it and retrofitting it and plussing it or whatever, put that towards the ride vehicles. Maybe get rid of the 1950s submarines and maybe build some sort of other sub and track that can accommodate maybe a wider vehicle that can accommodate more people.
Or facilitate ease of access, right? Because it's really the loading and unloading that gets that attraction. So if you could do it in a way that, maybe a dual loading station. I mean, I've heard plans for that, and that was one of the things that was cut during the 2007 overhaul for Finding Nemo Submarine Voyage. But like facilitating, like you said, either a ride system that was maybe larger or reconfigured, or one that just enhanced that in and out.
Right, exactly. You see, that would be, I think, money well spent.
Yeah,
because then you're kind of retrofitting and renovating for the future,
right?
This is a Band-Aid. I mean, okay, so we're gonna repaint the rocks. We're gonna, but none of that addresses the core issue though of the attraction. Like you said, the loading, unloading, address that. The size of the vehicles, maybe add more seating, make them wider. If you have to change the track, change it. That would be more future orientated. But this is just like, all right, we're going to keep doing the same thing. And, it's like, okay. And then we'll be back where we started 5 years from now.
It's so weird. And that's an attraction too. I mean, it doesn't solve some other issues, which is it takes up a lot of real estate for the amount of people it does put through an hour. I mean, look, you know how large Peter Pan is, right? It doesn't move that many people, but for its plot of land, it kind of makes sense. It's a fan favorite, whatever. This takes up way more land, and it does about the same in terms of capacity. And it's like, okay. It also takes divers, which is a kind of a specialty kind of role at Disneyland Resort. I mean, look, folks, You want to know how expensive this is? World of Color, the platform that retracts up and down, that was specifically designed so they didn't have to employ divers every single time to maintain that experience at great expense. And unfortunately, that may have not worked out in the way they were envisioning it either. But that's what you have at the Submarine Voyage. It's like, it's just a lot of overhead, a lot of payout with not as much payoff as I think even operators of the park kind of expect.
Yeah, and I know in this like IP driven world, that we live in, I know like they want a franchise tied to this attraction. So Nemo it is. Okay, fine. Mm-hmm. But man, if I could, I mean, please, I don't know, can Disney Plus make like a 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea like reboot or something? I don't know. Maybe they are. Who knows? But do that, and I hope it's a huge hit. And then retheme the attraction to that. I would love that. Nemo doesn't work in that spot. I think the writing on that attraction, I'm so sorry. I mean, I just...
You just don't like the Nemo.
The whole ride, the whole script of that attraction is Nemo. Where's Nemo?
It's so bad.
It's so bad. I'd much rather see something like 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, or just I don't know, man. I even told you this, I think via text the other day. I'm like, I'll even take like a Stark Industry submarine ride. Like if you need an IP attached to it, just make it Stark. But the Nemo thing doesn't work, and not in Tomorrowland, not at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It just, and there were concepts for like an Atlantis space attraction, right? Back in the day, which sounds so cool. If you didn't know how this whole thing worked out, the idea was that you were going to get it was going to be kind of interactive, and when you get seated, you just don't get a porthole, but you also get this kind of joystick, and you control this kind of claw mechanic where you can pick up treasure down below, and then the Atlantis monster, if you remember that movie, gets woken up by all of this stuff and it attacks you, and you have to kind of fight back. It sounded really cool, really ambitious, especially for the time. This was like the 90s. But it just never got anywhere, which was really unfortunate. And I agree with you, man. If we can get a retheme on this, I like your idea. Hey, 20,000 Leagues, let's go. That is one IP. That and Rocketeer. Look. People don't like IP. I get it. I understand, and I got it.
No, I know.
But sometimes those are two IPs that Disney fans would most like, and they just haven't done anything with them. Oh.